So it's Halamala Talavala back again with our review of the GOAT. I'm going to go right out of the gate and call him that, the GOAT.
The greatest of all time.
Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I get that right. I can't get
Nurmagomedov or Nurmagomedov.
Obviously, he had his fight yesterday against Justin Gaethje. An absolutely amazing performance. Amazing. That goes without saying. The fact that Dana come out after saying he broke his foot 3 weeks ago. You could see that he had 2 broken toes that were strapped together. On top of that's the physical side. On top of the mental side of it with his dad dying and knowing how close he was to his dad. And it's hard, like when you watch stuff, like you get emotion of fighters. And you know 100%. What it is? I've watched interviews of Khabib before where he was talking about, they asked him about his dad and he's like, ask me questions about my dad. You can see how like close him and his dad's relationship, what I mean? And because like I've got a kind of a similar relationship with my dad, I'm proper close to my dad, you know what I mean?
And he's an old school man.
Yeah. So like I see it and I feel it, you know what I mean? Like how he is with his dad and just the whole respect and whatever. Being like I'm calling him the GOAT. I personally think he's the GOAT. I'll explain why later in the video. I personally think he's the GOAT, fam. But look at his reaction after the Conor McGregor thing when that madness happened.
Yeah.
And they're like, the commission this, the commission
30 million this person's banned, that person's banned. Will he be allowed in the country again? Some man was saying, taking it that far.
But his response was, guys, my dad is going to smash me. Like that's what that man is thinking, you know what I mean? It shows how
you seen the child in him then.
Yeah, man.
For that little moment, you seen the child in him.
Yes, you did, bro. And I think it should always be like that when you've had a relationship like what his dad's gave to him, you know what I mean? And I've got the relationship with my dad. Obviously, like the same with you and your dad. Like I think it should always be like that and people tend to go towards.
It got to a few of the boys as well because a few of the boys their dads passed away recently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's a bit of
and people can relate. So rest in peace to all of them, man.
Yeah, man. And also, it's like people play into the Conor McGregor aspect of things, trash talking. You have to be like this, but it was nice to see just a real character. You know what I mean? Like you said, you saw the child in him, and that's not an act. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's actually thinking like, when I get home, my dad's I've disappointed my dad. You know what I mean? Like, and that shows the relationship between him and his father. So, like I said, the physical aspect of the broken foot, the 2 broke toes. But then when you go into the aspect of the mental aspect, there was a whole lot of things that this guy was facing.
Yeah.
And to pull off the performance he did, like even in round 1, he got caught with a couple of shots.
Before the fight, look how quickly he turned it around from when his dad passed away to now. How soon he fought.
Yeah.
It's not like he took a long time out. He didn't really give many statements about losing his dad. But when he did come out, it was, I'm fighting Gaethje. Yeah,
like, and there was one interview where I saw the person and there was basically like, is it hard without your dad? And he kind of got agitated with the question, and I understand that. He's like, if anybody loses their dad, surely it's going to be hard. You know the answer to the question. Basically, just don't ask me questions.
Remember the human.
Remember the human.
That's why he asked him the same way. He made him human.
And that's what it is. Like, people sometimes forget because of fighting, and some people see it as barbaric and stuff like that, not the art that it actually is. You know what I mean? It's you forget the human side of somebody, and
you just think machine.
But and because Khabib's so dominant as well. But the truth is, bro, that performance to me, like I said, it was an amazing performance. Probably one of his better ones because Gaethje is a real threat, bro.
A real threat.
We've saw what he's done to a lot of people. He had his spell of a couple of losses and then he turned it around and went into all of these wins, you know what I mean? Like, he's a real threat, top bro.
Guys.
Been wrestling since a very early age. He's got that knockout power. He throws real power punches.
Got a great chin.
And in the first round, Khabib was like, I gave Khabib the round. It was a close round, but then Khabib landed the takedown. And then when the significant strikes come up after, I think it was just 24 to 22. Khabib had just outstruck him.
The pressure that Khabib put on him, like from the fight going the whole 1 minute or 2 minutes with nothing happening at all, and they were just circling to each other. And then it's like Khabib just went. It was the same thing with Barbosa, where he just runs you down, and it's mad to see that he made. Like Gaethje didn't, the power that he has and everything. Like he was hitting him. He caught him a few times.
He caught him a couple of times.
There was one body hook combo.
That
caught him clean, and he still walked forward. With the leg kicks, he did the same thing to Barbosa with the leg kicks. He's made out of different stuff. 100% he's made out of different stuff. That's
just not physical. That's mental, though. That's like
that's part of it.
Yeah, that's mental. That's like that's like, you know, no matter what I'm facing, I'm going forward. So, you know, sometimes when people say, and you're like this, you know, like Fury. One thing I've always said, to beat Fury, you kind of have to flatten him or flatline him, or a body shot where his body can't. You have to incapacitate him, and it can't be a choice. Yeah, it can't be a choice. Because there's very few men in this world. A lot of men will say it, but there's a very few men in this world that you don't really see quitting them. You know what I mean? And
that really want to fight. No matter what.
No matter what. Like, you know what I mean? And like you say, Barbosa was landing some heavy kicks. You know what I mean? Like
even the spinning back kick to the head as well.
He
caught him clean, and he still walks forward. And I think I've never really seen Gaethje that tired, that quick. And it's not just the physical of what's going on, it's the mental. It's like, fucking hell, he's still walking. You're constantly thinking, and when your brain's working in overdrive and your breathing ain't the same, your oxygen levels are just going lower and lower.
And I think what helped Gaethje through a similar situation with Ferguson, because Ferguson pressures you as well, is he was landing clean consistently on Ferguson. He landed clean on Khabib, but not that often.
And he couldn't set his feet
enough. But because of that, because he was landing so clean on Ferguson so consistently, it gave him times where he could have a break, where Ferguson couldn't just keep coming forward. Because I don't care, like,
because when Ferguson would try to do his spinning thing,
bang,
and then he'd think, oh shit, I'm not. So that bought him a lot of time.
So it gives him a couple of second reset, and there was no reset. And one of the things I said to you, right, it's like one of the things my dad's always said to me. You know, one of the things I learned off my dad was basically, you know, looking at a fighter's stomach, you know, in between rounds, and how he's breathing, and you could really, and I said, look at his stomach, look how he's breathing. He's not breathing. He's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, and you could see like that the pressure was really getting to him. But like at the end of the first round, if there was maybe another 30 seconds, that might have ended it there. You know,
the armbar.
It wouldn't have been. There wasn't enough time to get the armbar in, but he pretty much had him in.
He got to that Ronda position where he just had to yank it and.
And then obviously, as we saw in the second round, the pressure continued. He took him down, and how he took him down, for a split second he was on the bottom. If you know
his knees were on the floor.
He was on the bottom. And considering that you can do that to somebody that's been wrestling since a very young age, and with the credentials that Gaethje's got in wrestling, you know what I mean? Like,
it just showed that he's a freak of a man.
He is. He definitely is,
and freakishly strong. Because he done that off the leg kick, spun, put himself in, like he said, in not the best position, turned him over and took his back straight away, and it was like a man against a boy. That whole it being that this is supposed to be the toughest grappler he's faced, and he done it so easily. So it's ridiculous how easy he did it. He didn't even have to soften him up once. He didn't soften him up with many blows.
It looks like when he's and it sounds mad to say, right. It looks like when he's grappling with people, it looks like it's him and somebody else doing it. You know what I mean? That's what it looks like, bro. Honestly, it looks, because it's so easy. You know what I mean? It's so easy. Like, and remember before when Joe Rogan was getting like, I'd like to say overexcited with how Iaquinta was like, I can't take him down. I think Khabib was just like, let this fight play out how it wants.
He was scoring 10-8 rounds.
He was jabbing out his face. You know what I mean? I listened to Iaquinta after, and Iaquinta was like, I don't know why they was getting so excited. Like I got battered kind of thing. You know what I mean? So generally, whenever he's grappling with somebody, it looks to me like there's numerous people fighting one person. You know what I mean? And I think it was Chael Sonnen. I was watching a video yesterday, and Chael was basically saying it's like, he's done wrestling a very long time, and he said, I've never watched a DVD, I've never been to a seminar, and I've never been taught this. He's saying that he's attacking one side, but passing on how he's moving on the other. Like, he's saying what Khabib does, it isn't generally taught in wrestling. You know what I mean? So it's like he was explaining like how great it was.
Even the key lock chain. You know, he's changing the sport, and that's what great fighters do. And obviously Jon Jones is one of them as well with the oblique kick and stuff. And great fighters change how things. Randy Couture at one point changed the ground and pound style. And still doing it. And Tito Ortiz, when he was ground and pounding through the guard. You know, with the opponent being in full guard, and he was still smashing through it. And he's taken it now to a level that, like you said, Chael Sonnen's is a veteran now. So he's a veteran. He knows, he's a historian of the sport, and he still says that Khabib shows him things that he didn't know that they're trying in practice now. So that's a testament to obviously Abdulmanap.
Yeah, man, definitely, and
you know how strong you have to be to do that that leg lock. I've tried doing it myself, and it kills your own calf. It puts it in agony. Absolute agony. And
even the amount of time he had Gaethje in the triangle to when he was out cold shows the power of the man. I've saw people be in triangles and tap. They've been in the triangle for 45 seconds. You know what I mean? It was like.
There was nothing.
There was nothing, and we saw like a slight tap before. Like we was in the room, and the lads was like, "Oh, did he tap?" And I was like. Because basically it's like a tap, a split second, then another tap, right? But then after, I think it's when he actually goes out, it's like a punch. And it's like a bit of a punch. And that's why I was like, nah, he didn't tap,
I have sympathy for the ref as well, because it kind of looks like he's fighting it.
It does.
It is a tap.
Oh, no, it's not bad on the ref side.
A few men online were saying that. But nothing's in. Imagine he would give a tap and he never tapped.
Like what situation you could end up having is the Robbie Lawler Askren situation. Where Robbie Lawler gets straight up and he's like, "What are you doing? I'm all right. I'm just relaxed." You know what I mean? And in a fight of this magnitude, I think the ref had to let it play out the way he did. Like there's no fault on the side of the ref. Like he said, it looked like he was fighting it. In the moment, we're saying, did he tap? You know, like not he tapped. It was like we're asking the question then in the moment. So you know. What people don't understand is we've got the benefit of replays and slow motion and all of this, you know what I mean? And like you can't, the ref's human. It wasn't that much of an error. To me, we shouldn't even be talking about it now. That's how little I give the whole weight of the situation. So
it's all
to going into then after the fight, Gaethje like obviously Khabib got really emotional, broke down, and Gaethje was like going over and obviously after he woke up and that and consoled him, and it shows like a high level of respect between the two athletes. Like one thing even Khabib said in the build up of this, he said like Gaethje, when I was cutting weight in 2016, Gaethje helped me, and it shows like the type of man he is. He didn't like forget something like that And he said after when like he'd finished being emotional and he was giving his interview, he was like, "Yo, I see how you deal with the close people around you." Speaking to Gaethje, and that, you know, stay close to your parents, because you know you never know what tomorrow brings, kind of thing.
Yeah, man, deep. That was real deep.
And
that was another glimpse of the human side of him. And
it was sad, man.
It was sad. And he was talking to that. He weren't talking to Justin Gaethje, the fighter. He was talking to him about, that's deep, man.
Yeah, man, it is, man. And like even then, to how obviously then we can get into the fact that he retired. And even the stuff he was saying in his retirement, his mom said, "I don't want you to do this without your dad." And his dad, he just hasn't had a close relationship with his father. His father's been his mentor and his coach. You know what I mean? Probably not just for him, because you see how many people, the team and everything like that. His dad seems like, you know. So I could understand your mentor and your coach. And he also said, it was my father's dream to see me be a champion in the UFC. You know what I mean? And I've done that. I've cleared out the division. There's Dustin. The next top two guys are probably Dustin and Connor. And I've choked them both out. You know what I mean? I've had the conversation with my mum. She don't want me to carry on fighting. I said to her, "Mum, this will be my last one," which shows the strength of the man in himself to go, like you say, to be going through what you're going through. And it's like, no, I'm going to do this last one. You know what I mean? This is a real legit challenger. Right. And like I said, like he probably remembers 2016 when you did that, you know what I mean? He liked him as a person, because I think if it was Conor, he would have just been like, "Nah, I'm not fighting again."
100%.
You know what I mean? But obviously with Gaethje, I think he, you know what I'm saying, like he had a lot of respect for him.
And with what Gaethje did to beat Ferguson as well.
Yeah, he deserved it, man. He did deserve it, and it leaves no questions unanswered. Like, so a quick question. Do you think, because, no, I'll let you answer first. Do you think he's retired and he'll stay retired?
Yeah, 100%. I think because of what he said and why, the reasons why. Because normally we don't believe in boxing retirements or MMA retirements. It could be the contract. Like Henry Cejudo.
I
don't fully believe he's retired.
I think we could see him. He might not fight, but we could see. He could be enticed out.
Something happens again. Something like Daniel Cormier, I believe, is retired now. But Khabib, for the reasons why and the promise he made to his mum, because obviously he's lost his dad, but his mum's lost her husband. And I don't know how old she is, but it's like, you know, Khabib spent a lot of his time away from the house in AKA, traveling around the world, living in America.
He also said that. He said, I want to spend time and be close with my mom, you know what I mean? Because, you know, the realities of life hit in, you know, whether you're a champion that's wrestled bears, like, or not. The reality of life is, you know, parents won't be here forever, etc., and stuff like that, and you should try and make the most of like your time with them, you know what I mean? And that's why personally I believe he's retired. I think you could say to him 200 million and he'd be like, no, I'm not coming back. I don't think it would be money that would entice him. It would have to be something else. But I just don't know what that is. So I've got to say, like, you're retired, he's retired. I don't think we'll see Khabib Nurmagomedov anymore. I think that's it, bro. And he's been a great servant to the sport, bro. Like, he's been amazing, bro. He's done amazing things. He's changed the game, bro. Like,
he's put bombs on seats. He's changed.
He's put like ballers on salads. You get me? Like,
he's give wrestling a
but
different dynamic.
He didn't change his style to do that. So he didn't do what Kobe done. Like, you know, Kobe's just being a troll. You're not selling out. He didn't go and do what Conor did, which was fun in the start, and then when you started to get personal and say things like about people's religion, families, wife, you know, I think that, and like even his country, his dad's a coward, like these things, like them things go. I understand wanting to get into your opponent's head, but then there's got to be a level of
it comes with the price.
Hence, like what we saw in the fight and afterwards, there's been a lot of good messages to him, you know. I saw Usman, I saw Conor McGregor himself, like, basically send his condolences, which
fair player, innit?
Fair play, and I like to see more of that.
And if you look at Abdul Manap, before all of that, he's actually said on video that he'd invite Conor to his house.
And Khabib would listen, you know what I mean?
Khabib would listen, so, you know, there's no point in carrying on a war that the person who's deceased might have been okay with. So it's just leave that there, and that's part of the legacy.
And like you say, fair play to that, because obviously a lot was said and done in the past, and I don't think them things should have been said and done, but to sit there. But Dylan Dennis, man, he got him. He done my head in a bit, because he was like, he's done it because he's scared of the Notorious, you know, like. Bro, like, he won 3 out of 4 rounds, and the 3rd round he chose to stand up with him. He won because he didn't want to. He chose to stand up with him. Like, you know, that fight was always in Khabib's hands, fam, from the start of from the moment he took him down till the end of the fight. It was in his hands. He stood up with him. He slapped him. You know, like,
you can dissect it and say the 3rd round or this, but really Khabib won every minute of that fight. He was in control of the whole fight.
I never looked at the fight and thought, you know what, Conor's going to win this here. Never.
Obviously, it's scary at the time because Conor's got the power to
definitely. But Conor's a great athlete. I'm not saying anything otherwise than he isn't, but I'm just calling what I see.
Like we said about the Lama fight.
I'm calling what I see, bro. So along with that, I don't think he'll be fighting again. Going on to this, like, now, I'll start with why I think he is the GOAT,
the greatest of all time, because
he's lost officially 1 round. Is that what we've got? Officially 1 round is lost in the UFC. Now the other, like GSP, I understand why he's put in there, but with GSP, I didn't have GSP above Jon Jones, and I'll explain why. Because in MMA, it's so hard not to lose, and Jon Jones' loss isn't a legitimate loss. You know what I mean?
The elbow, the disqualification.
It's not, come on, man. You can axe kick somebody in the head, but you can't do that elbow. Come on, bro. It's. I think it's a bit of a silly rule, if you ask me. So
I think it should have been a no contest, if anything, but whatever, innit? He never really lost. He's never been beat.
He's never been beat. So that's why I put Jon Jones above him, because I think in boxing, like you have to deal with a man's just two hands. Obviously there's footwork and etc. I don't want to oversimplify such a like great sport, but I mean,
but
like, ultimately you can only use two hands. You can't use knees, you can't grapple, take man down, should I
submissions.
say. Yeah, you can't submit somebody,
and you're never really gonna see something that someone's never done before.
Nah, you're not. You're never enough. Particularly going to see that in boxing. Not only to go with that, like it's
You see that kick we seen the other week? I can't remember his name.
The mad kick, the mad knockout,
the Matrix kind of kick. Like that. You can see something mad. Then you see Yair Rodriguez's elbow or something that Zabit does. And there's loads in MMA that don't even make it to the highest level. So you're right. There's too many.
There's just too many weapons, and to keep an undefeated record in MMA with so many different, like I say,
at the highest level, right? I think that separates them two from GSP. You know what I mean? Because at any time, them two could have got caught with the shot. GSP did. How many did GSP lose to before? Twice, but he avenged the losses.
I know. Matt Serra, like he did, but he lost. Who else did he lose to? Matt Hughes. So he got submitted, and he got TKO'd, by Matt Serra. So again, he's up there, and I understand why he's in the conversation. But for me, I don't take it as I've got to just put Jon Jones and Khabib above him. You know what I mean? And then why I separate Jones and Khabib now? Right, I separate Jones and Khabib. Right. Firstly, Khabib's officially lost one round. We've had a good couple of fights where we fought. What's his name? Is it Santos? Thiago Santos? Was the first one where it was like, oh, is Jones
even Gustafsson won?
Gustafsson won was the first one. I do think Jones won that. Right.
But there's a question, a legitimate one. If someone questions it, we're not saying you don't know what you're talking about.
Then the next one that I saw that was like that was Thiago Santos
on one leg,
and. To be honest, bro, when I was looking at that fight, I remember what I said after. I thought Thiago Santos won that fight. You know what I mean? I did think he won that fight, but at the same time, it's not one of them things where I'm sitting here and I'm being like, oh, he won 4-1. It was like 2-2, and then whoever you give that round to. And I thought it was Santos, but I could understand why it was given to Jones. Right, and then after that, Reyes was another close... a very close fight.
I scored it 3-2 to Reyes.
So like, but again, it was one of them ones where you could understand why a round might have gone to Jones that somebody gave to Reyes. I didn't think it was a robbery.
I think the Santos one wasn't. I think if there was one of the two that was more of a robbery, I think Reyes. I don't think it was 100% a robbery, but I seen it as the Santos one was a bit tougher to give, and I think it was a bit more that Santos done so amazing despite having the fuck leg. That made me see it a bit closer than what it was, or lean towards Santos. But the Reyes one, I actually thought he won 3 rounds. I think there was rounds where
I Jones was winning. In the Santos one, I thought Santos won 3 rounds. Like looking at the rounds, but all right, ultimately he didn't lose, so he hasn't really officially got a loss on his record. He's got a disqualification for a rule that, to me, I don't agree with the rule particularly. So partly why I separate them, there's 3 fights in question there where it's really could have, if it would have went the same way we're saying, all right, it's not that bad that he went to Jones. If it would have went to any one of them men,
would it have been a robbery?
We wouldn't have been like, oh, Jones was robbed either way. You know what I mean?
So Gustafsson got the decision against Jones, and Santos got the decision against Jones, and Reyes, would you be saying that's a robbery? That's a good point. Would you say it's a robbery?
Would you say any of them was a robbery?
Not that you disagree with the result. Would you say it's a robbery?
And he lost 2 rounds, definitely, in all of them fights.
100%.
2 rounds out of the
100%.
5. He lost 2 rounds, definitely. So he's got 6 rounds that he's
lost rounds to Cormier. 100%. It's 100% lost rounds to Cormier.
He has.
He's who else is he? I don't know about OSP. I don't know if he looked shit or if he lost rounds. I'd have to watch it again.
I think he just looked terrible.
He might have won all 5, but he looked terrible.
That's going on to my next point as to why I've got Khabib above him, is because of you popped, and you didn't pop once. You basically popped 3 times. You popped twice officially, and then the third time was like a pictogram.
Picogram.
A picogram, sorry, not a pictogram. A picogram. But then it was like, when he said about that, he was like, the USADA was saying, I'm going to have that for years. But you didn't have it in any of your other fights, bro. It wasn't reported in any of your other fights.
And that should mean he should be getting popped every single time.
Until now, there should be a picogram in it, because he said he was going to have it for years, etc. Also, in them fights when you was popping, so you looked amazing, and in between, didn't he have the scent brew? Wasn't it in between?
That was that fight. He was fully clean.
Yeah, and
when he come back.
This is what I'm saying. Even that, the picogram weren't in the old. No. So this is what had me a bit like about the little what's it called situation. But he didn't look good in that fight, bro. Yeah, he didn't look like the same man. So to me,
he looked like he didn't believe in himself.
Yeah, like I don't agree with people bringing it into the GOAT status of. Why
hit and run and stuff.
Don't bring that in. Don't bring that in.
If you think he's a twat, he's a twat.
Like don't bring that in. Don't. That's like a whole different. What's it called? We're talking about in the octagon, and then the reason why I've mentioned them things. You lost more rounds than him. This is why I think Khabib's above. Jon Jones lost more rounds than him over the course of his career. Had really at least 3 questionable fights, and the whole popping for steroids thing, I'm sorry.
Numerous times.
Yeah, numerous times. It weren't once. It's not like it's just happened once, because I can understand it can happen
Contaminated
once.
Product. Or
We've got that once. We've got it again. Right, so we've got that twice. Then we got the picogram. And then we've got what Israel Adesanya recently had you to admit, which was that you did hide under the cage.
And you said it was for a blunt.
Yeah, you said it was for a. You know what I mean? Bro. Like, come on, man. Like,
with that history now.
Yeah. It's not one of the things singularly. Like, you could be like, all right, alone, all right, maybe, but you put it all together, and I'm sorry, bro. It looks like you've popped, and I'm a big Jon Jones fan, so I'm not here like, you know me, like I'm a.
We was heartbroken.
Yeah, I'm a big Jon Jones fan, but
you got to be real.
Yeah, you've got to be real to what you're seeing, and what I'm seeing is it looked like you popped in it, but
and I think fans are too forgiving when it comes to steroids. I think it comes down to a lot of lack of education on steroids. People think that it's just to make you hench, or it's just to make you perform better on the day. And he's still a very clever fighter, and he's still and that if he weren't on steads, the steads, like the Daniel Cormier thing to say, it's not the steads that got him the kick. It's the IQ.
But it is.
But
though.
It is the steads.
Because right. Why did recovery, your stamina, all of the stuff like that. The amount of times you can train in a day changes. Yeah. You know, like so you can get yourself into.
So that technique is so good because he's recovering every day and being able to go to the gym and work on mad shit more than. And whilst everyone else is knackered and has to go through.
You can't play downstairs. You wouldn't take them if it didn't give you a clear advantage. No way. You wouldn't risk it all. No way. And one thing I've always said, when it comes to combat sports, taking steroids should hold a bigger punishment than other sports. So, football, obviously, performance enhancing, I don't think it should be as big a punishment, because when you're in combat sports, not that you shouldn't get punished for it. You should get punished for it.
But it should almost be criminal.
Yeah, it should almost be a criminal. It actually
should be criminal, not even almost. It is criminal.
For the fact of people die in the octagon, people die in the boxing ring.
You lose some of your life every time you go in.
Not even that. What's that thing called? CTE.
Yeah.
The brain thing. Like you add into that, and you're giving yourself an unfair advantage, and it's at the cost of somebody else's health. Yeah. And that's where I think in fighting sports, it has to be taken more seriously. Yeah. Most definitely in any combat sports. Because, like I say, it can be detrimental to your opponent's health. Yeah. It's not a level playing field. It'd be like allowing somebody to bring a bat to the fight,
or a suit of armor, or knuckle dusters,
or something like that. You know, like Margarita in boxing.
Yeah, the hand wraps.
The wraps thing, and he was turning. Like I thought that was like
horrific,
unbelievably bad. And even when you watch like the head-to-head they had after, it made me want to fight him. Well, I probably not want to fight him because I probably won't win. But
that Cotto moment at the end of the fight when he just stands and watches. I loved it. I loved Cotto. Cotto was my guy.
I hate stuff like that. Honestly, I think.
But with you saying that, that's why I would put GSP above Jon Jones, because GSP didn't pop.
Yeah, no, I do understand that. I can't argue with that, bro. But my whole thing is the unbeaten record, and you have finished unbeaten, so that's the only reason why I put them above him. But I can't argue with the fact of if somebody's saying he popped because it, you know, like in court they say guilty till proven innocent. Like, yeah. So you know, like it is a legitimate argument what you're saying, John. I can't argue with you, bro. That GSP. Right, could be above Jones for that fact because popping is a horrible thing, bro. Like I say,
you can't downplay it.
Nah, you can't, man. And people that do, like, they don't understand, bro.
Yeah, you're either a prick or you don't have a clue.
Yeah. Like I don't understand how you can downplay it in combat sports. So I can't argue with why you would put GSP above him. But to me, why Khabib's the GOAT is he faced anything and everything as well in his division. You know,
because the argument is on the other way that the amount of title defenses that them man had.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a valid argument. So obviously we should give their side as well. That GSP was lost twice. I think he lost twice, but he beat the people that he lost.
Yeah. So he avenged it.
So he avenged it. So that's massive rating for that.
Yeah,
that definitely puts you in the GOAT conversation.
100%.
And he had, I think, 15. I can't remember the number of the title defenses that he did have. So it's a massive number. So that's why they're putting him there. And Jon Jones, similarly, he ain't lost, like you said, fam. And he's had a mad number of title defenses, and both of them have had more title defenses than Khabib's had. So obviously that's the argument that they're coming with, but I'm not completely buying that, because if you look at Jon Jones' record, as sick as some of the geezers were that he beat, when he beat mans like Rampage Jackson and that, they were already on 9 losses or 8 losses.
Yeah. Shogun weren't the same Shogun.
Yeah, he was champ, so it's still a great thing. But then it's like when you look at and then his best win, and if it was clean, Daniel Cormier, you know, beating him in their beef and everything, but that wasn't clean.
It wasn't clean.
100% wasn't clean.
And even the Vitor Belfort one, it's like, look at the age of Vitor Belfort. It's not a fresh Vitor
Yeah, this
Belfort,
is what I'm saying.
You know
all of them. I think the only one that he caught at even Chael Sonnen, he's already on like 9-10 losses. A lot of them. I think the only one that he fought at a proper time where he didn't take big losses was Rashad Evans. But even then, after he's been banged by Machida, and none of them were really on the ascendancy. The only ones that he faced that was on the ascendancy really was Reyes.
Yeah. What about Gustafsson?
Gustafsson, yes, 100%. But look what happened.
Yeah. Gustafsson was a really...
But look what happened. And then that brings me on to the other point, that the amount of damage that both of them have taken compared to Khabib, we can't underrate that. We've not seen him bleed.
Yeah. We've
not seen him bleed in how many fights?
Damage. I don't think I've ever saw him wobbled. I think I've saw a couple of people catch him with a good shot, but nothing to make him go back and do like any type of...
So if you break it down and you do look at the opponents and how dominant he like he 10-8'd, he's probably 10-8'd every single man he's faced. At some point. Yeah. And if you look how dominant he's been, they've not been as close. No. They've not been. And if you look, who's a better striker that any of them faced, that GSP or them face, that's a better striker, puncher than Conor McGregor? Who's a better kicker than Barbosa? Who's a better wrestler than Gaethje? Who's a better, if you look at all
the only things, one again the way you go with the wrestling is
Cormier, but he don't have that win for me.
Yeah, it's not clear. No, one of them's actually a no
contest because he popped for steroids.
Yeah, one of them's actually a no contest, and you got to look at the stage Cormier was at in his career as well, bro. He was like,
yep, and you didn't want to fight him at his weight, but then again, light heavy, all right. Then
no, but again, we go on to Jon Jones here. Again, he's calling out Israel Adesanya, and that's what I don't like, because Adesanya's a lighter weight, and you don't really call somebody out that's a lighter weight than you know what I mean? And he's doing that. Just to go off topic a minute, but he hasn't been up to heavyweight. You didn't want to fight Daniel Cormier at heavyweight.
Yeah,
you said that because you'd give him some sort of advantage. You know what I mean? So,
and this man's absolutely obliterated everyone he's fought. Near enough, like everybody. He made who has any of these like made look so shit that's so good.
Yeah.
You know when you deep it, when you look at it, he's nullified top guys.
Yeah, everybody.
And guys that are coming, other than Aya Quinta, and even then he was a problem. All of these guys are primed, ready for this challenge now. Like Justin Poirier was ready for it, and I know there's this whole unmotivated Conor McGregor thing. I don't think he was unmotivated.
Nah, you can't buy into that.
It turned out he had a better tank than Gaethje.
Yeah.
So he wasn't unmotivated. He just got busted up. He just got out wrestled, and I think him doing so well, Conor doing so well in that fight, was more to do with the pressure that Khabib has put himself under.
I don't think Conor even did well, bro. If I'm being honest, bro.
I mean, he stopped Khabib from doing, and I think it was Khabib's choice that he just needed to secure that he's gonna knacker him out.
Yeah, definitely. But what I think, bro, is I think he could have ended it in the third round. My personal opinion. I think he could have took him down in the third round, but he decided to let him know that I will stand with you now. I've took you, I've drowned you to where, because we know with Conor McGregor, he's got like an 8 to 10 minute stamina. Like after that, he's not the same fighter type thing. So I don't think Conor did great against him, bro. Like, I'm a Conor fan again. Like, I am, so I'm not just sitting here. I'm just calling what I see, bro. Conor didn't do great, and no time in the fight did I think, Conor's doing well here. The first 10 seconds, you know, he landed the left, made him kind of stumble back to towards the cage, and that's about it, bro. Like,
that's about it.
Apart from that, I don't think he did well, bruv.
Yeah, so I think it just comes down for me.
So have you got him as the GOAT then as well?
I've got Khabib as the greatest fighter of all time, and I think I'd even go as far as say it might even translate into boxing, because I've still not seen. I've seen Floyd,
but the greatest combat athlete
to be so dominant, to impose his will in such a mad. It's not even like he's somehow defensive and winning, and that's no shot on Floyd, or that's not even no shot on GSP, who I think was way more defensive with his grappling, way more defensive with his grappling than Khabib was. And I think, sorry, you know, the GSP point of him going to middleweight, I agree with you that he's seen that as the easy win against Bisping.
Yeah, he did.
It's great what he did, but it weren't like Bisping. I love Bisping.
If it weren't Bisping and it was like
Romero,
who's now
Whitaker, Adesanya.
He's not fighting Adesanya, bro.
He's not fighting Kamaru. He's not fighting
Kamaru, bro.
And someone said to me earlier that, okay, let's see if Khabib would take 3 years out and could he win a title again coming back in. But if it was a Bisping level fighter, he'd win the title, bro. If Adesanya won it again, or someone that shouldn't win it,
he'd win it.
Because Bisping was never at any point the best 185.
What's it called? I don't mean to be disrespectful to Michael Bisping.
No, he's a legend.
He's a legend, bro, especially in the UK, bro.
Yeah,
so,
man.
like, no disrespect when I say that. I just don't think
he wasn't the best 185 ever.
I don't think he was close to being the best 185. You know, I'll be honest with you. I didn't rate him that highly, like, throughout his career, MMA wise. You know what I mean? I don't want to come across disrespectful, because obviously he'd bout my head in, but you know what I mean? Like, I didn't rate him that highly.
We're talking GOAT conversation, GOAT wins. That's not one of your GOAT wins.
That's not a GOAT win.
Like, Cormier would be a GOAT win.
Yeah, you know,
definitely. And if you look, and he's had
like now, if you come back and he fought Adesanya and beat Adesanya, I'd be like, oh my god,
Then you probably done it. You probably would have done it.
Yeah. I'd agree with that, but not Bisping comes, because would Bisping beat Adesanya?
No, Bisping wouldn't beat Whitaker.
That's what I was just going to say.
We've seen it. He got sparked by Gastelum.
But would he beat Romero? Yeah, I called that as well. I called that.
No chance.
Would he beat Romero? You reckon he's beating Barricina?
No.
You know what I mean? So that's where we're just saying.
And even in his era, and it was fucked because everyone was on gear. But he's never been one of the. When he won the title, I loved it because it was the underdog story.
Yeah, amazing. I loved it, man.
I liked this fight for so long, and somehow he fucking did it.
Nah, but you know what's raw about him as well? Because I don't just want to seem like I'm speaking bad of Bisping, because, like I say, man, like, I rate him highly. Like, regarding MMA in the UK, bro, he's one of the main pioneers in the UFC, should I
100%.
say? He had one eye, bro.
Yes.
Who does that, bro? Just be like that now and try and fight somebody, bro. Like, that is mental.
I can barely fucking focus on this podcast.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm like this now, it's mad. Like, that is amazing, bro. That is an amazing.
But that's not one of the GOAT wins.
Nah, it's not to me.
That's not what Daniel Cormier did against Stipe.
So you see when DC took me saying that Nate Diaz. Cherry picked Poirier. I didn't mean because he's gonna beat him, fam. I mean he cherry picked it stylistically. Would he fight Usman?
No.
Would he fight Khabib?
Because Woodley wanted it then.
Yeah.
When Woodley was champion, when it was a prime Woodley before his music.
I don't think he would, bro. If it was somebody that was going to take him down, I think he chooses stand-up fights because that's where his game's at, innit? Really, like, you put him against a grappler, bro, and it's like Rory Mack. Was it Benson Henderson?
Bendo.
Yeah.
Even Dos Anjos.
Yeah, like
man's a ragdoll.
Yeah, he gets ragdolled about the place. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do think that was a cherry pick from GSP. So I don't think that there puts him in the conversation of the GOAT, really.
And he's had too many close fights. Johnny Hendricks, I think, beat him.
Carlos
Condit rocked him.
Yeah.
Nick Diaz had like, there was a lot of these fights where people were sticking it on him. Don't get me wrong, he had some amazing ones. I loved it when he beat Fitch.
Yeah.
Because I hated how Fitch used to fight. I hated watching Fitch's fight and his jab against Koshek, and like he's had some great moments, but I don't believe any.
That's why he's in the conversation. It's just I don't. But on dominance, a lot the greatest of all time. You've got to go of how dominant they was in their era. Yeah. It's not just the wins.
Yeah.
It's how dominant you was. You know what I mean?
He ain't bled.
Nah, he ain't bled, bro.
In the UFC, find me a sport. Find me a fighter that hasn't bled in the UFC.
That hasn't bled, man.
No black eye.
That hasn't bled, hasn't been wobbled. Not even, alright, like all of it, put it all in. Hasn't bled,
wobbled.
Hasn't been wobbled. Hasn't been knocked out. Hasn't been submitted.
No.
Like, it's all unbelievable, bro.
Unbelievable. And he's fought so many styles.
Yeah, and he's just doing exactly what he wanted to do in these fights.
He's had his game plan. He's had one game plan, and he did it. He's imposed his will. He's made of greater stuff than them. I believe.
Definitely.
I believe he can take shots better than they can. He can walk, man. He's stronger than them. I don't, obviously not directly, but pound for pound, if we're going to have a pound for pound argument, he is. I think he's greater in every aspect of like however you want to measure it, other than the amount of title defenses. I think he just feels like he's got nothing left to prove. I think he. I don't think. Yeah, like
no, he hasn't. He hasn't got anything left to prove. Like I'll be honest with you, he hasn't, bro. Yeah, so that's what we think is the goal. Obviously, the performance was amazing. His career's been amazing, you know. Like, I don't think he's coming back, and he's a very strong man to go through what is. So,
what's your top five GOAT list?
Khabib, Jon Jones, GSP, and then I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Who you got after that?
Then. So I've got to remove Jones from it.
Oh, you're not having him in there?
No, I've got to, because of the stead thing, but because then I'm going. And you know what? You know, if you just, and it's mad because I can include Anderson Silva in it, and he took gear, but that was pre-USADA, but Jones competed post-USADA against clean fighters. So if it was the era where all of them were on it, I don't like it, but they were all on it. Then that means you have to cancel the whole fucking sport. So I'm not going to do that, but for everything
I think it's harsh to take him out of it, you know.
He cheated, but for me, he cheated against.
I can't.
But he took Daniel Cormier out of it, really.
Yeah.
From cheating, he took Daniel Cormier out of where if Daniel Cormier would have beat him twice and beat Stipe, then it probably wouldn't be a question right now. Or it probably would be Khabib and Daniel.
So go on then, give me your 1 to 5.
So Khabib, number 1. GSP 2.
Yeah.
Cormier 3.
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse 4.
Yeah.
And Anderson Silva 5.
Okay.
I think
I've got to add Mighty Mouse to my list. My brother,
Yeah.
he was amazing, bro. Such an amazing fighter.
Cejudo as well, you know.
I was just gonna say I think Cejudo's got to go in there above Anderson, fam. I know Anderson had that period where he was amazing, bro.
But 10 years, man.
But you still popped, bro, as well, man. You still popped. Anderson was my favourite fighter, fam. So if by that logic you're taking Jones out because of it, I understand.
I did my disclaimer. I understand the
but
yeah, go on.
You can't have him in there then.
Go on, yeah.
You can't have him in there. Mighty Mouse has got to be in there. Cejudo's got to be in there because, like, it's
Yeah, how many weights?
Yeah.
If Cejudo comes and fights Volkanovski and does it,
he moves above Mighty Mouse. You think?
Yeah. 100% does then. 100%.
I don't think he moves GSP. In my opinion, to mine is Khabib, Jones, GSP,
Mighty Mouse
Cejudo. That's mine, right. In mine, he'd go above Mighty Mouse, but wouldn't put him above GSP or Jon Jones or Khabib for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's not too